going on, everybody? Bear Bets Podcast is back. I'm your host, the Bear, Fallica and Geoff Schwartz is with me today. So we now know half of the quarterfinals in Euro 2024. We now know half of the quarterfinalists in Copa America, and hoping to join the quarterfinals on Monday are the United States, who off of that embarrassing 2-1 10-man defeat to Panama the other day, need a result. Need at least a draw if the Bolivia match were to end in a draw, or they could just get the full 3 points and then win on goal differential. That would do it. I think the immediate knee-jerk reaction was, Jeff, after that game on Thursday was, oh, there's no chance. Uruguay is just going to run the U.S. out of the building. But then the odds came out. And I know that caused me, at least, to kind of take the step back and just reassess everything, think things through, because the United States are favored on the three-way. U.S. are plus 145. Uruguay is plus 195 around there, plus 185. And then you've got the draw around plus 210, I think, 230. So, like, the odds makers, I think, priced in immediately that we may get some lineup changes from Uruguay. And you just kind of get the impression that it was an opportunity just to kind of reassess everything. So where are you headed into this match with the U.S.? Do you think there's an opportunity here? Because you could bet the USA on the double chance as well, which is minus 260, a little pricey, U.S. win or draw. Any thoughts on the markets here? Will win, draw, tie on three-way or the double take?
The double chance, which I surely knew what it was, Bear, about a week ago. I will say, here's my thing about Team USA right now. Obviously, every 4 years, or now obviously every couple of years with the Euros, we see a lot of USA soccer fans tweet, okay? And maybe it's just a cynicism in sports fans, but they all tweet about how disappointed they always are in this national team, right, Bear? I feel like you feel the same way. So I don't know what about this team I should feel confident about. They're going to, other than they have to win, right? Well, they sort of should have won last game. They didn't have to win, and we get a red card early on for a guy hitting a dude in the back of the head. Like, what are we doing there? I mean, like,
about the dumbest thing you could do.
Like undisciplined play. So, yeah, maybe you're fading Uruguay team that's super hot, 6 points, as you mentioned, plus 7 goal differential. They don't need to win this game. USA has to win this game. So maybe there's the thought that, okay, we have a motivated team, can't play any worse. But it feels like over the years, USA sort of lets us down in this moment on the men's side. And so, I'd love for them to win, obviously. It'd be good for us, be good for the country, be good for the fans of this team. But I don't know how confident I feel they're going to do, other than just saying they're going to make lineup changes, as you mentioned, and they're just going to play better because they can't play any worse.
Well, we don't know the lineups yet. We don't know as of right now when we're recording this. Matt Turner, the U.S. goalkeeper, is going to be able to play. However, there have been some Uruguay 11s floated out there on Twitter, and none of them have Darwin Nunez, none of them have De La Cruz, none of them have Valverde. So, like, I think at least the people who follow this Uruguay team are expecting, I don't want to say a B-level Uruguay, but you're expecting a lot of the stars. And you're expecting some of the people on yellows to not be in the lineup, which would certainly help the U.S.
Yes.
Bielsa, the Uruguay coach, is also not going to be there. He is suspended. He's been part of the leading the team out on the field, tardy after halftime, which is, I'm glad these coaches are being held responsible for that, and there's some accountability for it, because it's ridiculous. So the thing to look at too, like, if you look at the 3 times the U.S. has played a Bielsa coach team, all of them have gone under 2.5. So it's like they've been lower scoring, closer games. So I think that might give the U.S. some hope. I'm curious to see what happens as well with the U.S. lineup. But I was surprised that Musa was not called on in the second half of that last match, because he's a guy who can kind of create and run and doesn't need to be set up like Pepe was. So I'd expect to see him play a good bit in this game on Monday, because I think he has the capability and the potential to score some goals. So were there anything in the totals or player shots or anything like that might have caught your eye?
No, I'm waiting to lose a Lukaku goal again. That's my,
We'll get
I'm
to
waiting to lose
Euros.
that. I'm waiting to lose that wager with Belgium. I haven't had to play anything yet, Bear. The question I have for you though, is that so I believe the next game for Uruguay would be July 6th, if I'm looking at the schedule correctly. I could be off a day or two there. Why would they sit their top line guys for 90 minutes with a game 4 or 5 days later? I
Well,
feel like that's something that USA fans want. We want that to happen.
yeah.
But what's the benefit of them for doing? I understand if they play them a little bit, take them out, but why just sit them the entire game?
I think the benefit is if you're going to be playing in Kansas City where it has been brutally hot and humid. I think we saw earlier in the tournament an incident with a referee who maybe got dehydrated and collapsed. So I think it brings up the potential for injury. Players getting dehydrated, players maybe pulling a hamstring, players maybe getting hurt. If you essentially have the group wrapped up, there's no reason to really go out and risk injury to Darwin Nunez or Valverde or one of the stars who you really need in order to beat either Brazil or Colombia, who you're going to play in the quarterfinals. So I agree with it there. So with backups in there, you can potentially maybe look at Luis Suarez. He's rumored to be in the 11. He's a guy who's going to be out there and he's going to want to score. He's plus 240 to score anytime, 6-1 to score first goal. Both teams to score, minus 125 on the yes, minus 105 on the no. And then the one that I did like was Balogun. Both games, he scored in the first half. So he is plus 550 to be the first goal scorer. He's plus 225 to score anytime. I think the U.S. are going to get a result here. I know laying 260 is a little bit of a steep number to lay. And I hate just saying, okay, find something that you can parlay it with to bring the price down just a little bit. So I know coming off of that last performance, it's hard to buy in and it's hard to believe and it's hard to do. But remember a couple of weeks ago as well, in a friendly, they were terrible. And then they came back out against Brazil and played really, really well and very easily could have won that game. And they got a result. They got the point. So I like U.S. winner draw. Like I said, I know you got to pay a little tax for it, but I'm more optimistic, I think, about getting something out of this match than most people are.
Could you wait a little bit to take that in game and it be or in match and it be a better price, or just take it now and be done with it?
I would take it now because I think the U.S. is going to come out and play very well at the start. I think you're going to see a team that's more, and that's what they did against Brazil in that friendly right before the Copa America started. So I think they come out. I think if Musa does play and Balogun does get going early like he did. Remember, Pulisic scored that great goal early as well in the first game. They played well early on. So I don't think the price necessarily is going to get better in that match. I don't see Uruguay coming out and putting up a goal early. I think they're going to, I don't want to say they're going to go out and play kickball, but I think they're very content here to just go out, play the 90 minutes, come out of here with the draw if need be, and move on. So I like U.S. or draw. You can maybe even play the other result that I would suggest playing, and is around 11 or 12-1. You could play draw in U.S. Uruguay, parlayed with draw in the Bolivia Panama match, because Panama's down some guys there too. Bolivia aren't very good, but now Panama are expected to win that game to be able to get through. So the draw parlay of 11, 12-1 or so, I don't hate that bet either.
I almost did that the other day. Remember, we talked about doing a draw in a Euro match, and I accidentally did draw for both matches, and they both draw at Bear, but I didn't do it. It was plus like 900. So it does kind of break my brain a little bit to root for two games to end in ties. But nonetheless, there's money to be made there.
Yeah, I think there is, and I am still surprised, and I don't know your opinion on this, that Colombia still seem to be a little underrated in this tournament. Like, they are still a significantly bigger price to win the competition than Brazil. And based on, I know Brazil finally erupted the other night and won easily over Paraguay. And of course, I give out under a half a goal for Paraguay and for score a goal against Brazil for the first time since 2016. So that's kind of how a lot of my Copa bets have been going. But if you're Colombia, you may have to beat them potentially twice, because you're going to get the runner-up in this group, Colombia, Brazil, whoever loses that match and finishes second. They're going to have to play Uruguay. The winner will play either the U.S. or Panama. So there's a benefit to winning and playing the easier opponent and not having to beat Uruguay and the other team again to get there. So that final group stage match between Colombia and Brazil will be interesting as well. And I think that might go a long way. But 7-1 Colombia seems like still like a fair price. And I think the fact that Uruguay are going to have to play Colombia and Brazil, probably both of them, I think that's why people aren't necessarily buying in on Colombia. And on the other half of the draw, you've got Argentina at plus 175 or so to win it all. I still think that's a really good bet to be holding in pocket, because you can kind of play around with that come final, because they're going to be in the final.
So would Colombia take the same tactic as Uruguay and sit players? And it's not, the game is not in Kansas City, it's in Levi Stadium. They've won the group already. Or I guess they haven't won the group already, but they've advanced to the next round already. Do you think they would just take it easy against Brazil, or give it to
No, I think they want they need the point. They need the point. They need to make sure that they win that this game does not go Brazil's way, because Brazil will have the edge.
They would win the group
in goal differential. So they're going to have to go out and make sure that Brazil do not win this game. So it would be especially knowing the mentality of Colombia and how they are perceived in South America. They're the team looking to break through and looking to get that reputation that Argentina and Brazil have. So they absolutely need to go out and make sure that they get a result and don't lose, or else they're going to be stuck playing Uruguay and then Brazil.
So I believe I have this correct. If USA finishes second in the group, they play the winner of the Brazil-Colombia game, correct?
Yes.
Essentially. So who's better for USA to play?
Better, I would say Brazil probably would be the more would be the better opponent, just because they just recently drew 1-1 with Brazil. Now Brazil had a bunch of chances in that game, but the fact that Brazil has looked shaky at times on defense, and I think Colombia, with the way they can finish with Luis Diaz and James Rodriguez, who's been able to distribute the ball. I think Colombia right now are probably a little bit better in the midfield positions with Diaz making some runs. And Alisson is probably the best keeper in the world for Brazil, so that would be an issue. But I think Brazil are shaky enough in the midfield and on defense where they can get opportunities to score. So ultimately, they're going to have to beat both of them.
Yeah.
Or beat. They're going to have to beat 2 or 3. They have to beat Colombia, Uruguay, and Brazil 2 out of 3 if they wind up getting to the quarterfinal. Like I think they're going to. I think they're going to get a point. I do think they're going to get through. Look at me, Mr. Optimism, Jeff.
I know. I like it. Yeah. Normally you're unders and fear. Unders and fear.
Well, speaking of unders and fear, I'm going to give you a good little note here to get back to bring it back to the that golden boot conversation and player props and scoring. Did you know? Excuse me. That in the group stage, Romelu Lukaku had 7 shots on goal. Yeah, and that's more than any. It's more than anyone.
Aware. He actually had 3 goals. He had 3 shots go into the goal that were taken out. Bear. I know.
And did you know that in his last 20 shots on goal in major tournaments, he has a big fat 0. That's not the heart. That's a big 0.
It's actually organ O. Sorry. Yeah.
It isn't. By the way, you guys got another recruit today, didn't you?
Today maybe we got so many it's hard to keep up.
I know
it's a good problem to have.
It's funny getting a little college football involved in here. When I went on the herd on Friday with Jason McIntyre, we were talking, and one of the questions is about how which of these teams in the Big Ten is immediately ready to win, or who can win the title. And I said it's easy. It's Oregon, because Oregon is a team that, because of the way Mario Cristobal and Dan Lanning built the team, you built it on the interior. You've got line. You've got people in the trenches in the line of scrimmage. You've got guys who are in the SEC and know how to build teams, and they are they are going to be a factor this year. They got Ohio State at home. I think the one interesting thing, which I don't know how you feel. I know we're going on a college football tangent here, but I brought it up. I'm making my big go for Jeff. The fact that if you look at the four teams that most people think can win the national championship in college football, Georgia, Ohio State, then like Texas and Oregon are like the next two teams down.
Colorado.
Well, clearly, a big Big 12 champion, undefeated Colorado. I forgot about them, of course. But that's the thing. Two of those four teams are going to have to play on that first weekend because the conference champions get the first round bye. So like Oregon or Ohio State, Texas or Georgia, one of those are going to have to play that extra. Because I don't know, like if that ultimately is going to affect things or not. But you could wind up in a situation where you've got two of those teams going on the road, or not going on the road in that round, but they wouldn't. But it's like probably will be favored over maybe some conference champions in the quarterfinal, which I think would be interesting.
That's just, I've said this many times about the 12-team playoff, Bear. It just makes it harder to win, right? Like you have 4 games to win now if you don't win the conference versus 3 games versus what it used to be 2 games, right? You get lucky in the first game. TCU beats Michigan in a weird way, and maybe your luck falls against Georgia. That didn't happen that way, right? But it's just much easier to win in that 14 playoff. So look, I can't wait for college football. But I think we have 8 Saturdays away, maybe 10 NFL Sundays away. But we've got to get back to our Euro discussion here. Germany's going to beat Belgium, right, Bear? I'm not betting on Belgium anymore. I'm done with it. I'm over it. Germany, I think, is just better. Belgium
France play Belgium.
I'm sorry, France plays Belgium. I'm sorry.
There is a border between like Germany and France. So
I was looking at Germany and Spain. Sorry, yes,
Germany, Spain.
I just don't. And maybe I watch too much Belgium because I probably have the most wagers of anything on Belgium. I just don't think they're that trustworthy. They've had many goals called back, which maybe you could argue in this match that'll reverse, right, Bear, where all the goals go in and they all count. But they just seem to not put the ball in the net very often. And that even goes back to the World Cup. I don't think they're trustworthy.
No, I don't think they are either. And the reason why I don't think they're trustworthy is because of their back line. I think defensively they have voice. But then you go back and look. 12 of their last 18 internationals, they've kept a clean sheet somehow, which is astounding to me. Maybe it's because they've got such good midfield players and players with the ball, like De Bruyne and Doku, other than the brain fart in the first match against Slovakia. Has been really, really good and had a great year with Man City. But I agree. I like France minus 105 on the 3-way to win in the 90 minutes. That is a bet for me. It does concern me a little bit that France haven't scored from open play. They've got the own goal, and then they've got Mbappe from the spot in the game against Poland, who had nothing to play for. So that does concern me a little bit. But I think this is a situation where their defense is going to make life miserable. If you're looking for another maybe little angle to play, and I know he has not been great so far. He did have some chances. I believe in the second game it was, Antoine Griezmann is someone, if you go back through his Euro career, he's got 5 goals in knockout round games in Euro competitions. And he's plus 600 to score anytime. I'm sorry, plus 600 to score first, plus 275 to score anytime. So I think if you maybe see Mbappe play on the left, you bring in Giroud and you play him up top, and maybe Griezmann falling behind a little bit. Like that might be the ideal optimal formation from France. Maybe you see some of that tomorrow or on Monday. We're recording this actually, as you could probably figure, on Sunday night. So I do like France in this game, and maybe we'll see N'Golo Kante create and distribute and really control that ball and win that head-to-head, and we can maybe get those Kante player of the tournament tickets home as well.
Well, I hope so. What's going to happen is, Bear, I'm going to tail you on this France bet, and Belgium's going to win just to screw me, just to continue to take money out of my pocket.
That would be ideal. That would be so perfect.
Just continue taking money out of my pocket
for that to wind up happening. Yeah, without a doubt. And then the second game, the other game on Monday, Portugal. It's a big favorite, minus 290 on the three-way over Slovenia. You plus 850 on Slovenia back to win. The draw is 400, and because Slovenia. It's interesting. You think that they're just this outman team, and you probably would have thought the same thing about Slovakia before the game against England earlier on Sunday, which we'll probably talk about in a minute here. Slovenia's last four matches that they played have all been draws.
Yeah.
They beat Portugal in a friendly a couple of months back. So this is another team with no fear. I think they're going to go out. I think they're going to play confident. Portugal obviously were terrible in their last game, where they just got absolutely run off the pitch by Georgia. They had a bunch of lineup changes. They tried to just feed the ball to Cristiano Ronaldo to get him that goal. Didn't happen. So you're going to see the real Portugal team on Monday. They should advance, but I do like the under here. I think under 2.5 is probably the way to go. The way to go here, because I think at some point maybe Slovenia are a little tired. They had 5 guys play all 270 minutes in the group stage, so it doesn't strike me as a team that will have a bunch of depth. So maybe Portugal to keep a clean sheet. Under 2.5 would be a couple of ways that I would look at maybe playing this game.
Bear, you mentioned it. Can we touch on England, Slovakia, please? Because I had a banger tweet ready to go, asking soccer fans to tell me the comparable equivalent of England losing to Slovakia. England needed a goal in the 95th minute to tie it, and then was able to come in extra time fairly quickly. Bear, you go up 2-1. Kane scoring there with a header, I believe.
Yep.
A few minutes into extra time. I was ready. I was ready for the replies, man. I was so ready for this. I was ready. I wanted to know. Put me in football terms. Football for football terms. But man, about the 84th minute, Ian Dark on the call said something like, "England's playing a lot of fire now. I wish they play like this all game." That's a problem, Bear. That's
yes,
a problem. Like when you say about a favorite, they were the favorite. When you say, "Hey, man, I kind of wish they played harder the first 84 minutes of a match," probably why they're in this spot, Bear. And to me, not trustworthy against Switzerland. Steve
Fezzik, professional bettor, who I have a good text thread with. He has a say, or actually, Steve Fezzik. No, I apologize. It's Dr. Bob, another professional bettor who's out there. He has a saying. If you're in a must-win situation, you must not be very good.
Oh, yeah.
And England have put themselves in these must situations way too many times. And if you want to spin it forward now to this match with Switzerland, there is nothing that we have seen in this competition so far to suggest that they should be favored over Switzerland in the quarterfinal. Put aside all of the England, it's coming home, the name England, 3 Lions, all that stuff, and hype. That's it. Put what's happened on the pitch, and Switzerland have been by far the better team. And I guess there's always that, but you've got the Bundesliga leader in goals, you've got the La Liga player of the year, you've got the player of the year in the Prem. Like but they're all like square pegs and round. Like today on Sunday, he needed to pull Saka. He needed to pull Foden. He needed to pull Kyle Walker. He needed to put Trent, Palmer, and Anthony Gordon on to give this team some pace. And finally, he put Ivan Toney on his like his last minute, like, oh, go see what you can do. And then, of course, it was like a stepping in what in overtime because Toney was a player that made the play that ultimately led to the goal. So it's like they got lucky. But if you look at the way Switzerland are constructed and how sound they are, and how Granit Xhaka has been fantastic in this tournament. Claudio Vargas has been fantastic in this tournament. You got Xherdan Shaqiri, who can come in off the bench and deliver some key time. Like, I was stunned when I saw that Switzerland plus 275 to win in 90 minutes. This shouldn't be. Switzerland have been by far the better team amongst these two teams. I haven't seen the price to advance yet. I'd also look at that. But, I mean, maybe England just show up and finally the weight of they've been carrying and the pressure that they won that game, maybe they play freer, they play looser now. Maybe that happens. But until I see it, what we've seen from England in the 4 games, not really being very threatening for large portions of those games, that's the England, because the manager is just not going to make the changes at the start of the game that he needs to make. Yeah. Like even Sunday, Bellingham made the great goal to tie it up. It's fantastic. Yeah. What people are going to forget is that he wasn't very good for 90 minutes, but he made a big play to lead his team out of the depth of being eliminated. So I will give him full credit for that.
That's cool. The double chance on Switzerland tie is minus 150. That feels aggressive.
So Switzerland or draw is minus 150.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah, I like Switzerland. I like Switzerland. 90 minutes plus plus over 200. I feel like that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that's interesting. And again, getting back to what we were saying before about the Belgium France game in under 2.5 or so. Go back. Last 17 Euro matches, 14 of them have been under 2.5. Which makes me very happy, and that warms my heart and warms my my wallet as well. So I am all for the. I'm the one sitting there. Everyone's like, "Oh, we want goals. And I'm like, no, I like 0-0. Peru Chile 0-0. That's my kind of game. That's what I want. So it's been good in that sense. The lower scoring games. The other quarterfinal that we know right now, you alluded to earlier. Germany, Spain, and it's a game worthy of a final. Unfortunately, they're on the same side of the bracket. Spain, a slight favorite. I think they are plus. I wrote this down somewhere. I think it's plus 160. Spain plus 160. Germany plus 180.
Yep.
Draw plus 220. It's going to be a great match, and I think so. I think the winner of the competition ultimately will come from the team that advances here. Yeah. I think the winner for player of the tournament will ultimately come from who wins this match. I think you're looking at maybe Rodri on Spain, who is someone I think we might have talked about before the tournament. At 30-1, I think you're looking at Fabian Ruiz as well. He's been great. It could be him. And then I think on the German side, you're looking either at Jamal Musiala, as I should refer to him as Fulham's Jamal Musiala. That's an inside joke that maybe some people will get, maybe some people won't. And then Toni Kroos would be the other one who may get some, I don't want to say, he may get the emotional type vote because of his impending retirement. But Musiala had the big goal in the round of 16 game, which I don't know your thoughts on this. And as a player, like I'm sure you saw the match, the offside VAR review that pulled the Denmark goal off the board by like a toenail. Like VAR was implemented to correct egregious errors.
Yeah.
That was not an egregious error by the official, and the linesman missing that. That I hated it. I know there were ex-players in that room that were split. Some people hated it. Some people were like, that's why the technology is there. How, if you were on both sides, as an ex-player basically here we go. Basically a touchdown catch. Yeah. Because maybe the top of your cleat is maybe on the out of bounds line but your cleat itself isn't touching, but your the top of your boot might be over it. and you were denied a go ahead touchdown because of that. Like how would you feel as a player?
So I'm kind of conflicted, Bear, because I'm with you on replay review fixing egregious errors. That's the point of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also in the pretty strong and like the rule is the rule. You're offsides.
Okay.
You have to enforce that. Just like, if you're out of bounds, you got to enforce the rule. That's what, otherwise
Yep.
you get into too many. I don't. Are they cheating for one team? Are they in the back for another? Like you get kind of the integrity of the game questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think are never good for a sport. So, as much as I think VAR sometimes really ruins the vibe of a game, and there are times when you're like, that's not necessary. I get the why you want to always get the call correct. I've made this comment before. When you're trying to double play at second base and your foot like slides by the back but doesn't actually hit it, he's out. He's out. Like
Right.
Review to me is not for that, right? When you're reviewing a basketball that's in someone's hands, and when you hit it out of someone's hands, but as it leaves his hands, it bare grazes like the tip of the pinky on the way out. That's not the point of review, right? That's the point. For 100 years, that was ball off the guy, hit off the guys who hit out of his hand, right? Like that to me, those things to me are not the kind of spirit of the review. Targeting to me, like that's not the spirit of what review is, right? Throwing kids out for no reason. But if he's offsides, he's offsides. Because then, Bear, you get the question of sort of when does it count, when does it not count?
Mm-hmm.
If they're a full arm offsides, does that count? But if they're a pinky, it doesn't count. So that's why I as much as I don't like it, I err on the side of you got to call everything when it comes to offsides.
Well, that's why I ask you, because you've
but
been
the
in
handball stuff that we talked about with Stu, like that to me is where it's like that really didn't affect the play.
It
We have to have some
didn't.
nuance to that. Offside is very simple, right? Are you past the defender or not? Simple.
Yeah.
But
that's
handball, that's where that's again you're getting into the thing of like nuance with VAR.
Yeah, like that handball, like he was in a run. That was a natural position. Like he was run like, and then for like that, you see like a little blip on this like chip in the butt. Like I hated it, but I hated that more than I did the boot with the offside.
Yes.
Just because at least you here's the video where here it is. It's black and white. Brady Bunch. Mom always said, "Don't play ball in the house. I want to live by exact rules." Like that. Okay, I get it, but that the handball which led to the penalty kick. Come on.
That's my VAR take for today.
By the way, own goal should be player of the tournament. We're up to 8 now.
I know,
which is pretty incredible.
The one today was tough though, because he was trying to block the ball and just bounced off his body and went in.
Yeah, I know. And you know what the irony of that was? Literally about 45 seconds before that play, I had hit like Spain to win and keep a clean sheet. So it was like, really? I got a whole 45 seconds of a thrill out of this, but Spain did win, and we got some nice Spain tickets that we're holding on to as well. So we'll see what happens. So, hey, that's all for now. You got anything else before I officially wrap us up? You want to throw anything else?
I'm firing away on NFL and NCAA futures. We'll have plenty of months to talk about those.
Okay. Can I give one?
Yeah.
Can I give one? I think did I give this to you in the in which chat did I put this in?
UCLA?
USC? No. NFL.
I took. Oh yeah, Falcons. No playoffs, right?
Falcons no playoff, and the other one I gave was Ravens no playoffs. Plus 240.
Yeah. You texted me about that.
I did that. I did give you that one. Like they got their non-division schedule is really rough, and then you got the games within the division. Plus 240, Ravens no playoffs. Sign me up for that.
We have plenty to talk about that one. I think there's some validity to that. But we can do that.
I can't wait. We need to have a powwow off the air. You, me, Justin, our producer, and the stuff. We got to line up a an off-season schedule here for college and NFL. I'm getting excited just thinking about football being here in a few short weeks. So before we get to that American football, we got a few more weeks of worldwide football soccer here in the U.S. So Geoff, appreciate you as always. Appreciate you again for listening, whether it be here on YouTube, downloading it at your podcast platform of choice. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe, even if you've got a difference of opinion with Geoff and I, and you want to say how much you hate us, and that's acceptable too.
Yes.
At least it shows you care and you're listening. So appreciate everybody for taking the time to join us. We'll be back Wednesday, and we will know the matchups for the quarterfinals for all of the Euro 2024 and Copa America 2024 as well. Until then, the less you bet, the more you lose when you win.